Hariom, Sydney. My name's Prashant, one of the chicks here in Melbourne, and Darren very kindly has given me the chance to have a chat with you about CORD and CORD's vision and really the impact it left with me after I went there and spent some time in Siddhabari earlier this year. I think the biggest impact really came when I met Dr. Sharmaji. She's just the most amazing and dynamic woman you'll ever meet, and just the amount of respect that everyone has for her there is amazing. When I first met her, I remember her telling me a story about how she first started with CORD. It was after she went to one of Gurudev's talks, and after that just knew that she had to be in the presence of this master, and straight away joined up to go to a camp in Siddhabari. When she was in Siddhabari, she heard about this small centre that had been started for maternal and child health, and they knew that she heard that there was a paediatrician that was needed there, and she asked her friend, "Can I go and be the paediatrician there?" The friend went over to Gurudev's kutia, and she came out and said that Gurudev said nothing when she asked the question. She was a bit tense and she didn't know what to do, so on the final day everybody places a lamp on a map of India and then goes and does namaskaram to Gurudev and gets a tika. And when Dr. Sharmaji went to Gurudev, he looked at her and he said, "So you want to come here and work in Siddhabari?" And to that Dr. Sharma said nothing, and she said that her eyes started tearing up, and finally she just said, "Whatever you want, Gurudev, I'll do it." And to that he just stuck his tongue out at her, just poked his tongue out and said nothing more. About a week later she heard from her friend that Gurudev said, "Yes, you can come and work in Siddhabari." She came down to Siddhabari and started doing her work, and one day Gurudev was there and she went to visit Gurudev. And when she did namaskaram again, Gurudev stuck his tongue out at her, and she was a bit perplexed, and Gurudev said, "This tongue, there's 2 inches of this muscle in my mouth, can only spread the word of Vedanta to 1,000 people. But you, with the work that you can do here in Siddhabari, you can touch the lives of millions." And ever since that day, Dr. Sharma has just devoted and sacrificed everything in her life for that vision of CORD. And when you see her work, absolutely nothing is diluted in terms of that vision. Every program they run, everything they do is based on that CORD vision of empowering rural communities and rural women. It's about lifting the lives of people that really live in some of the most abject poverty that you can ever imagine, and rural India still makes up 70% of the country, so the majority of the work is going to be in rural India, and I think Dr. Sharma really describes it the best, so I think we'll leave it with her to describe.
So our program is about active participation with community-based organizations of women, youth, children, all ages, both men and women, so that no one in a village is left out, and all subjects that touch on their lives. Not just one single subject, because if you just work on health and leave out other issues, then health doesn't change. So unless we address their issues comprehensively, change doesn't happen. So all our programs are integrated. They're held with active participation. They're about sustainability from the very first day, and networking with all the people in the villages, the groups within groups, one village to another village, as one village to another block. So they network within themselves, as well as we network with all the departments of the government. We network with any other institution that exists in that area, so that we can leverage each other's efforts in empowering and transforming people's lives. Today, CORD stands poised at a juncture in its journey of taking all these program components ahead. How do we do that? How do we replicate the rich experience that CORD has had? We want to do it through a CORD training center. CORD actually is already a CORD training center, but we want facilities. We want to expand the existing facilities of CORD to provide place for people to come and stay, both from the community as well as other people in the world who are interested to serve the poor, such as the NGOs, the corporate sector, the government. So to have a training place for them, we are looking into building an extension of CORD's training facilities, for which I am appealing to everyone in the world. Every penny counts to bring up this center. We require about $1.4 million, and I'm sure because of the noble cause that it stands for building people to serve more people, many will come forward.